This is a world of magic and gods, a landscape filled with towering civilizations and powerful forces, a world of many stories. This story begins in the corner of this world, in one of the few places where armies and empires have not touched. On a small archipelago, two people are quarreling. The first is a young human female named Benny. She's underweight with tired, sunken blue eyes and ratty blonde hair. She's wearing only an oversized white shirt and a pair of dark pants. She had washed up on shore after being thrown overboard by her pirate crew. The other person there looks even worse. They are also a human female, or at least they used to be. She is slightly taller and larger than her emaciated companion. With her pale skin and lifeless white eyes, as well as the two black holes in her chest, it is obvious that this person is undead. She barely touches the ground and has no weight to her footsteps, with her partially ethereal form. She dons a cavalier hat with an ostrich feather in it that covers up her dark hair, a long, fitted black coat over a tattered shirt that has blood stains around the holes in her chest, long black boots and black pants held up by a buckle that has B et N written in script. She was a pirate named Amélie Dubois, although that's the only thing she can remember. Whether she was the captain or the cook is unknown to her. I guess that's what happens when you die, she thinks to herself. After harsh words and threatening strokes, the two split ways. Amélie walks off, muttering to herself. She swims to a neighboring island and finds a large rat. This rat does not attack or run away when she approaches, though. After taking a moment to feed this cordial, misplaced rat, she eventually walks off and keeps exploring. As days pass, Benny spends her time gathering food and making a well-crafted shelter with running water carried by bamboo shoots from a nearby spring. While gathering materials, she happens upon the rare flower of ipecac, which is the key ingredient in making a ghost-killing bomb. After crafting a coconut to encase the bomb, she goes and explores and also finds and befriends the rat. While Amelia is swimming back to the island with Benny and the rat, both groups spot a pirate ship. They meet back up and agree to work together to fight off these pirates. After minimal preparation, the party sets a trap. Benny goes out to meet up with the pirates. These pirates are led by a man named Captain Bluebeak, a tall pirate in a black overcoat and a blue bird mask. They tell her that they are looking for a certain rat. Surprised, Benny tells them that she knows where they can find this rat and leads them to where Amelia is hiding. Springing their trap, they ambush the unsuspecting pirates, cutting them down. After being weakened by Amelia, Benny jumps onto Captain Bluebeak, smashing his mask and gouging his eyes out. Inside of the ship, there's a drow woman named Thea Doe. She is tall with gray-skinned and white hair, typical of a drow. She is trapped inside a makeshift prison cell below the deck of Captain Bluebeak's ship. After what seems like months of travel since her capture, she feels the terrifying thump of the ship sliding onto a sandbar. Her rumbling stomach and filthy surroundings are a familiar situation growing up a poor orphan. Her cell contains a mixture of salt water, excrement, and bodily fluids. The air is stuffy, but the horrid smell has faded into normalcy throughout the journey. She hears the shuffling of feet above her for a brief moment, and then nothing but the ocean pounding against the back of the boat. After a few terrifying minutes, she realizes that the two guards who usually stay with the boat and swear away the day betting on dice are either sleeping or missing. She makes a futile attempt to break the side of the ship with her knife that she had hid away when they had captured her, but she makes no progress. Outside, Benny is taking note of the odd situation. These pirates and their belongings seem too clean and new. Experienced pirates would have put up a stronger fight against just the two of them. At the beginning of the fight, they even seemed unbalanced, like they were not used to going from sea to land. Also, none of the flags or symbols they were wearing are familiar, and Benny has heard of or knows most of the crews operating in this area. She concludes that these are not pirates at all, or at least they had just started if they were, but how did they know about the rat? Amelie and Benny go to the ship where they find food and a barrel of beer which they promptly dig into. Now properly drunk, they continue their search. They come across Thea Doe in her cell. The terrible smell mixed with her drunkenness causes Benny to vomit. The rat who is denied the beer happily licks up his newfound meal. Thea rudely demands to be freed from her cell, which is putting off the rest of the party. Thea then tries lying in order to convince them to free her, but Benny, Amelie, and even the rat are having none of it. Finally, they reach a deal, trading Thea's knife for some food and a mop to help her clean up the cell. In the middle of the negotiations, Amelie slips back onto the island to search the bodies and look for anything useful, and drunkenly ponders how she ended up where she is. After a thorough search, Benny finds a pan flute hidden away on the ship. The party takes off in the ship and eventually finds themselves being attacked by a giant octopus. Almost immediately, the rat gets whacked by a tentacle and turns into an orc. This is Urg, an orc who had the misfortune of being turned into a rat by a polymorph spell. Benny quickly slips into the holding cell to free Thea while Urg, in a fit of rage, starts bashing tentacles that appear from the ocean abyss. Amelie manages to cast Sword Burst off of pure instinct and is taken back by her own power. After the combat, she wonders if these were the powers she had in her previous life, or a product of her now undead state. The tentacles are powerful but wildly inaccurate. Benny frees Thea and they join their comrades, and somehow easily fend off the large sea creature without taking too much damage. Afterwards, their boat is battered and covered in black ink and green, foul-smelling goo, but they manage to hold their course towards the only unexplored island in the archipelago.